What's up? It's your boy Reemus, and on this video, I'm gonna be telling you the reason why I'm no longer offended by a white person, saying the N-word, in much like how everyone else is. And I think it's an interesting concept. But it comes down to the fact that I can't be offended so easy by what someone says. So we'll go into that. But I think this is a gift I actually have. I've come to learn that everyone else seems to at least be unable to see this. I'm not the only person, but I'm one of the few people that see that being so easily offended is a weakness. It's an emotional instability. Perhaps there's some moments where, okay, fair enough. But even then, I would love to get to the point where I cannot be offended by anything you say, but by what I say. Now, there's an example that we can use, a story. And it's a story of Frederick Douglass, and he was a slave, and then he freed himself and he rose to prominence. Now Robert Greene talks about this in the 48 Laws of Power, I believe, and I'm gonna paraphrase the story if I get it incorrect in any way. If you've read that book and you know the story or whatever, just comment down below and correct me. But Frederick Douglass was being disrespected by he was respected by blacks and whites, but there was one white who didn't know who he was, so he was, I guess, calling him boy or whatever, disrespecting him. Another white person who knew him told the white person, "Don't you know who this is? This is Frederick Douglass." And he turns to Frederick Douglass and says, "I'm sorry for him disrespecting you." And Frederick Douglass replies and says, "He didn't disrespect me. Only I can disrespect me." What a fucking guy. What a guy. Because he had tapped into whatever, energy or code of thinking this is. And it's probably the same reason why he was able to free himself. It's probably the same reason why he could free himself from being a slave. So perhaps if we adopt that same philosophy, same code, same energy, we can do the same thing in our own life. Now, what does this really come down to? It comes down to the fact that he has power over his own perception, not another person. That motherfucker over there, just because he calls him boy or nigger, don't make him a boy or a nigger. And that's the reason why I'm no longer offended by it. If someone says it to me and I have to punish them, it's not actually because I'm truly offended by the label, the word, that we've just given it meaning and agreed that it means this. I'm going to punish just because I have to establish boundaries. But that's actually the reason why. It's because they think they're disrespecting me. So I'm going to have to change their perception of how they can talk to me. To one that's where, like they talk to me in their world as respectful. Because usually it will come out as respectful in a way which I like. Now, when it comes to the word nigger, I'm not offended. Because if let's say a white person came up to me and was like, "You fucking nigger," I'd find it a joke, to be honest. I just feel like you're giving way too much power to someone else to define how you should feel about yourself. It's just, it can only be weakness. I want to, give the other side and be understanding and all of that, but I just have to call it what it is. It's a weakness. Now, doesn't mean you should go around letting people say it if you don't believe that. However, I actually would not mind a day where white people can say it. "Hey, what's up, my nigga?" And I might do that. The next white person that I'm friends with, I might be like, "Look, I'm your nigga." And I want him to say it. And I'm going to make him, well, not make him, but if he does, I'll have him say it on camera. Like, just us vibing, not forced. And people will say, "Oh my God, but you're making them say it." I define the rules of my reality, and that's the rules I define for my world. I'll say to him, you shouldn't go around saying that to other people, because who knows, they might not be like me and they're liable to fight you. But in my reality, I'm the king. I define the rules. If you don't like it, that's actually not my problem. I don't give a fuck, because I'm not living for you. I'm living for me. Because I want to be logical. And I understand the context that if a white person who was my friend said, "Hey, what's up, my nigga?" and I've already validated him to be able to say that to me, not other people, but to me. Or like a good example is they're listening to music. I hate when white people are listening to music around me and they just don't say the word. Say that word. Open that throat chakra. Say that shit. Don't worry. You can say it around me. I know you don't mean. I understand the context is not disrespectful. So why am I gonna get offended if the context isn't offensive? It doesn't make sense to me. You don't have to think like this, but I'm telling you the powerful way that I think, and I know for a fact if you take some of this energy and this code, you will think stronger. So it's up to you. Until next time, peace.